several components should be put into the bird's nest before it's placed on the aluminium profile. So we'll need the 3D printed bird's nest and the lid, the Raspberry Pi 3B, the DC connector connected to the motor drive, and the spark fan kit. This is the lid for the DC connector, and then the holder for the spark fan kit. And then we will need to mount this thing with M320 millimeter long. Raspberry Pi is mounted with M3 12 millimeter, and this board is mounted with M2.5 12 millimeter long, and we will need hexagonal nuts for M3 and M2.5. The bird's nest is printed usually with, it's recommended to be printed with supports on the build plate. So there will be, again, plastic crap in all the holes that needs to be taken out beforehand. So the Raspberry Pi should fit neatly in. This will be a power port, HDMI port, 4 USB ports, and Ethernet port. And there are 4 screws that should hold the PCB of Raspberry Pi on the bird's nest, and 4 hexagonal M3 nuts on the other side. The DC connector should go here into this slit and then be fixed in the position with the lid. And the lid goes like this, letting the wires out, and then the connector should stick out through this hole. It might be a little bit tight depending on the precision of your printer. So first put it here and then just push it so it sticks out. And then this goes on the top. Make sure that you don't squeeze any wires. And voila. And this lid is held by M3 screws that are 20 millimeters long and have countersunk head. And 4 hexagonal nuts on this side. The spark fan kit goes into this holder here, like this, and there are 2 screw holes to hold the top of the holder. There is a cutout for the PCB of the spark fan kit, so it should be facing cut out down. This is held together by M2.5 12 millimeter long screws with countersunk head and M2.5 hexagonal nuts from the other side. And while I'm here, I will also put the nuts in for the breakout board for the motor, which is also held by M2.5. And the breakout board for the motor should be placed here and held by the same screws M2.5 12mm long. And now you can put the Borg's nest mounted on aluminum profile as well. You can see that it has a cutout on the bottom that will slide very nicely around the aluminum profile, so you just need to wiggle it a little bit like this. And then you're going to need an M5 screw and a T-nut to fasten the Borg's nest here. And this will eventually stabilize the vertical rail. Again, just for the convenience of mounting, I'm using the longest M5 screw I have, 16mm, but then I shorten it by applying this plastic 5mm long washer. And the idea is that it's long enough to allow support of the T-nut. Fasten it properly so now the vertical rail doesn't wobble. To connect the components of the Borg's nest, first you will need to guide the jumper cables into the Borg's nest via the port here. And then please follow the wiring guide. So for example, for the stepper motor, you need to connect the wires that are coming from the motor, gray, green, yellow, and red, to the motor driver breakout board. And please make sure that you're connecting them in the correct sequence. So that the motor A pins should be connected to green and gray, and motor B to yellow and red. The power is already connected, and you need to connect now the pins on the breakout board with the pins on the Raspberry Pi using 10cm long DuPont cables with female to female terminal connectors. I squish these wires a little bit to then allow the lid to slide in. The LED wiring. There are two wires coming from LED, and these are these two, red and black, and they should go into the SparkFun MOSFET kit here on the back, and on the PCB board of the kit you will see that there is a plus and a minus. So if you can see it here, plus and minus, so the red one should go into plus and the black one should go into minus. And it's so tight now that I prefer to use forceps. That are, I don't know where. It is so tight that I prefer to use forceps to push the wires into the slots where they belong. Like this. And the black one goes into minus. And then you need to tighten the screw to secure the wires into place. And this wire should be connected to a control pin on the Raspberry Pi. And you can see it here. It goes from the MOSFET kit into the 6-pin on this bank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 2 more wires left to connect, and those are coming from the mini micro switch. And as you can see on the wiring scheme, the purple one should be connected to the first pin on the Raspberry Pi, while the white one should be connected to the 4th pin. And this is it for the layout with the Raspberry Pi camera. And you can just slide the lid. Okay.